All right, Chicago. Let's go there. The Shoney's big boy making the weekend rounds. Do you think this guy actually thinks he can be next president of the United States? People believe he might be. Now, I am told that bald guys like me, short guys, I'm average height. I'm not as tall as I'd like to be, but I'm told if you're under 6 foot, generally, if you're bald and if you're fast Eddie, those are immediately disqualifiers from being president of the United States. Agree or disagree? I'm talking about the modern era. I know they made a big special bathtub for William Howard Taft or something, but...
Yeah, agreed.
Is that about right?
Yeah, sorry. Yep. Sorry, Chris.
Got to be tall, can't be bald, can't be fat. Now, J.B. Pritzker has a handsome head of hair. I don't know how tall he is. I suspect he's tall enough, but he's a rotund. He needs PhD weight loss. Now, can that guy be president? I'm serious. Let's just be candid. Can he be president any more than Chris Christie could have been president?
He's dropping the lbs pretty fast. He's got a lot of money. He whines like a leftist. If he keeps pushing that dial left, and goes full communism, maybe, man, maybe.
I don't know. I just don't think people like seeing presidents' faces spilling out over their neck. Like the collar. I get distracted with fat guys' necks. You get you can't make a collar big enough, and then it just starts oozing over the top of the shirt collar. That's all I'd look at the entire time, the neck.
Well, he's got the popped collar Obama thing going too now. See, he's cleaning up.
Well, he seldom wears a tie. That's true. That's how you avoid the neck spillage. Look, I know all the tricks of the trade as a fat guy, former fat guy, thanks to PhD weight loss. Anyway, J.B. Pritzker making the rounds on the Sunday shows. I've never seen a group of people fall so easily to a trap. I mean, it's Tom and Jerry stuff. It's Roadrunner Wile E. Coyote stuff. I laugh at it because I don't know what else to do. When Donald Trump says, I'm going to send the National Guard to Chicago, and they start ranting and raving like lunatics about it. Before he's even done it, he just talks about it. Because they saw what success he had when he did it in D.C., and they know that if he goes to Chicago and he starts to bring crime down and he starts to make things a little more calm and palatable in downtown Chicago, they know what's going to happen. It will be a referendum on them. They cannot withstand being on the ballot on the issue of crime. They can't. And so they want to get ahead of it by scaring people into believing it is more frightening. The prospect of bringing in the National Guard is more frightening to control Chicago than it is to walk the streets at night of Chicago. Chicago residents are to fear the National Guard more than they're to fear law enforcement, more than they're to fear crime. Now, I don't think, I don't live in Chicago. I have some relatives who live on the fringes of Chicago, but I don't know that there are too many Chicagoans who are saying, the idea of it being less safe here does not appeal to me. I want Trump and the federal government to butt out. I don't want crime controlled here. We're fine where we are. Leave us alone. Leave the Shoney's big boy and this mayor. Just leave us alone. I don't believe there's anybody in Chicago saying that. They know that, which is why they're trying to convince you in advance that if Trump does this, he's not really trying to control crime. What he's trying to do is control elections. Let's go. Number 58 to kick it off. The Shoney's big boy on the Sunday shows.
Deploying in Washington where he has federal control is one thing. But if he sends military forces into a major American city in a state that didn't ask for it, beyond Los Angeles, what do Americans make of that?
Well, they should understand that he has other aims other than fighting crime. That's the first thing they should understand. The second is it's an attack on the American people by the President of the United States. Now, he may disagree with a state that didn't vote for him, but should he be sending troops in? No.
You said he has other aims. What are the other aims?
The other aims are that he'd like to stop the elections in 2026 or frankly, take control of those elections. He'll just claim that there's some problem with an election, and then he's got troops on the ground that can take control if, in fact, he's allowed to do this.
Does this work? I have to ask myself, does it work? Because I don't hang out with leftists. I don't talk to leftists. I know leftists hate Donald Trump. I know leftists are unhinged. I know leftists will believe anything any idiot says that Donald Trump's real intentions are. Did you hear the, speaking of lunatic leftists, here's an amazing new criticism. I was doing some reading yesterday for today's show. They are now mad, believe it or not, the American left. They're wound up and hysterical and convinced that there is a scandal brewing because Donald Trump has not been visible enough. Did you see that, Eddie? People like Keith Olbermann, they're convinced that we're hiding something. The country is being lied to because Trump is not on camera and on a microphone every day over the weekend. They're very bothered by this, and they're convinced that they're hiding some sort of Trump ailment, even though he was golfing.
I have no idea where this came from. This is a very new charge, and they hit it pretty hard. Like you said, you were reading about, like they were convinced that this is the thing.
They are trying to leave their followers with the belief that Donald Trump is secretly convalescing somewhere and under great medical duress, and that the White House is keeping that from the American public because, get this, he's not visible enough. I saw them say things like, has there been a day that Donald Trump isn't visible and talking about something? Has there been a day? No. But again, I go back to that old George Will axiom, and I'm not prone to quote George Will these days, but one thing he did say years ago on this show that I always liked a lot. He said, there were times in this country where we would go weeks without hearing from a president. Now, I happen to like Trump. happen to like his communication style. I happen to like great communicators. And as we are in a 24-hour news vortex constantly and social media, guy came up to me yesterday at church, for instance. He goes, hey, I just wanted to introduce myself and say I'm very, very sorry that I have not said hello sooner. I said, well, I don't know that we've met. He said, yeah, but I see you on Facebook all the time, and I just wanted to say I'm sorry. That's what I'm saying, Fast Eddie. Whether I know it or not, I'm in somebody's face every single day. He said, I'm sorry that I didn't recognize you from Facebook before now.
But
Facebook.
Chris,
I've been doing this for 25 years. Facebook is where he recognizes me.
No, I get it, man. But I guess we were used to the last 4 years, Biden either falling off his bike or taking a midnight ride in Ukraine or something, right?
That's true. And disappearing for days, certainly never holding pressers, calling lids on things in the middle of the day, like the morning sun comes up and they call a lid on the media avails already. Yeah. So that's the big scandal du jour now, is that Trump hasn't been visible all weekend long, and they're certain that they're covering some sort of illness up. But anyway, my point is Pritzker is out there trying to convince Chicago people that Trump's real design is to send the National Guard to Chicago to stop elections. And my point in all of this is, does this work? I guess if leftists believe Donald Trump is really sick and not doing public events because he's sick, and they're hiding that, I guess people will believe that Donald Trump really is dispatching the National Guard a year and a half in advance of the midterms. A year and a half. I guess not quite a year and a half. A year and several months. Is the National Guard just going to stay in Chicago for a year, Fast Eddie, to stave off the elections? Is that the plan?
I don't think so, no.
Lunatics. Anyway, Shoney's big boy making the rounds. He apparently wants the gig, they say.
For full shows, live and on demand, it's Salem News Channel.